I did.
He unplugged it.
Sorry, guys. Let's start over. Welcome to another Tuesday night edition of Flight Club. Sorry that our mics weren't working. They are now, and it is what it is. I didn't have the little box plugged in for our mics here. So again, I will say, what are you looking at over here? A dinner plate or a engine cowl? What are you?
As I was saying, 9 cylinders.
9. Count them.
You got to cut it all out.
Cut
right?
it out. Yep.
And then you got to hook up your push rods, and then you got to paint your fins, and then you got to trim it, and then you got to
glue
sand
everything.
it, then you got to glue it, then you got a base ring, then you got to
paint it again, cuss it some more.
But there's always upgrades.
There's always upgrades, and that's what we're going to be talking about here tonight, guys.
This will work fine.
Really cool stuff out there.
Yeah, it's like anything else. Anything like a higher performance that you would like would be available. And he does a great job.
Yeah.
Are we going to show the cockpit stuff?
Yeah, we've got all that stuff up here. But
okay, now we got to reiterate what was said before. It's my sister's birthday. She's 103 today.
Gone from 93 to 103.
Well, they didn't know that until you just said that.
Unless they can read lips.
She's out there celebrating. I don't know. She's probably behind Kickback Jack's garbage can on 3rd Street.
Yeah.
About midnight. No, it's West Coast is underwater.
I know.
So she said she's out by the water.
Whatever. She's at a restaurant. Ocean, man.
Yeah.
You know, get out.
Be careful what you ask for. They've been praying for rain for 4 years.
4 years. So they didn't say how much.
You didn't say how much. So we just figured we'd make it all in one day.
Get it all at one time, right?
Yeah. So anyway, she's partying somewhere. I don't know who's paying the bill, but those are fun to go to when someone else is buying.
Exactly. No doubt.
I love that.
Yeah.
I don't have any money.
So in case you guys weren't here last week, we actually showed the 3D cockpit in the works for this beautiful T-28 right here from Legend Hobby, guys. And, you know, what comes with it looks really good, just like this radial that comes with it looks really good, if that's what you want to do. It's there. It's in the kit. Put it in. Bam, you're done. But if you're going to really go for the scale look and you really want to put in some pilots and make it look good, well, you know, there's other options.
Great.
And so last week on the show, we showed you guys some beautiful pictures. And, you know, over there, Sean over at Scale RC Engines is doing some amazing work. In case you guys missed the Corsair photos that came up on Facebook and things like that, they were amazing. They just looked incredible. Well, with that being said, Sean is busy working on the 3D cockpit for both cockpits because there's 2 in this airplane. He's also working on the radial for the gas engine, things like that on this airplane, and can probably do just about anything you guys might want because he's just has the ability to do it. So with that, we're going to bring in a special guest tonight and introduce him to you guys. And it's the man behind all this great stuff, and he's going to be able to tell you a little bit about it. So, Sean, we're going to bring you in. How are you, man?
Hey, guys. Good. How are you?
I'm doing good. I unplugged the mics earlier when we were talking to you, so we forgot to plug them back in. So it's like, you know,
Brian Chambers called you a rookie.
Yeah, everybody's quick to tell you. So, guys, we have here with us tonight Sean over at Scale RC Engines. How you doing tonight?
Good. So
good. So you're staying busy and keeping machines busy and getting things done over there. Tell us what's going on, man. What are you working on?
All right. So right now, well, I'm between building 3 airplanes, but on the business side, we're working on couple different things. We got the T-28 going, and we have the Corsair going primarily. We have, I'll show you the Corsair first. This is the prototype for the direct fit for the Corsair. Now, this is the custom for the EME60 with auto start. So we're going to have the pre-cut out already in there for the starter to clear. So there's not going to be any carving or anything you have to do for that one. It's been a little bit of a tricky one to get around the starter, but so this one's in its final phases. We have the plane here. I have to just try and mount this final prototype before I release this motor. What's
the runtime on that, Sean? What does it take you to make that?
So this one's so the EME60 version takes about a day. The full scale version that'll be released for giant scale electric or a standard EME with no auto start probably is going to take about a day and a half to run. So as you can tell, I have many machines running all the time.
I imagine so. Yeah. Well, and again, that's the reason, you know, these things cost what they do between his expensive machines, between the filament, between his time and everything. You know, there's a price tag for all those kind of things. And, you know, I think that, you know, those things have got to be calculated in so that it's worth your while, because you can print stuff for yourself all day, but if you're going to be sitting here printing stuff for the consumer to make their planes look better, you got to have a fair return on that.
Right. Yeah. And that is all calculated in. I mean, I try to, I don't, I'm not trying to make a ton of money on this. I love this as a part of the hobby. There's a lot, there was, you know, I've been doing a lot of building. You know, I started flying when I was 13 years old. So I've been doing it the better part of 15 years, but I started building giant scales in the last few years. And I found that there was just not a lot of options out there for really scale details. So we started this on a whim. We started getting into it and put a couple products out here and there, and then it's been snowballing ever since. So we started doing more direct fit stuff as fast as we can. You know, I have myself primarily, but I have, you know, other club members who will get a new, like the Corsair, for example. I don't own one, but I have a club member who got the first run. He was generous enough to bring it and drop it off in my workshop for 2 weeks to fit up. Then he took it back, built the whole thing. And that's where we're in final fit now. So it isn't all just me. I have a lot of help behind the scenes that a lot of people don't see. So it's definitely a community effort to bring these products as fast as I'm able to.
Well, that's just it. I mean, you know, and you know, the guys out here that are wanting these products too, man. I mean, and a lot of us, I'm very OCD when it comes to things looking right, and I want everything to look like it should, and the paint to look like it should, and yeah, exactly. You know how I am, right?
I know exactly.
I want the wiring to be perfect. I don't want you to see wires. I want everything gone. I mean, I am very much into the detail of things. Like I said, some call it OCD, some call it a problem. I don't know. I call it possibly a good thing. Yeah, stop. You can be a lot of the same way.
True.
But, you know, again, I think it's an amazing thing that you're doing over there, and the time that it takes to put into this stuff and
yeah, because we don't know how to do it. We couldn't do it if our lives depended on it.
Right.
That's why we need you.
Exactly. That's right. So for the guys out there that are building the T-28 or the Corsair, or for that matter, what was the guys at our field? Who was he and what was he doing?
Who?
The radial that
Bill Sherrill.
Bill Sherrill did a radial.
Spirit of St. Louis.
Yeah. And it was massive, guys. And last September at our fly-in, that was our Warbird fly-in, he was showing it around to everybody and passing it around. And I've never seen anything that looked like, I thought he had aluminum in his hands. And when I looked at this thing, I was like, man, what is that? And he's like, oh, this guy over at Scale RC Engines, man, you got to see his work. And I'm like, well, let me see it. And he hands it to me, expecting it to be heavy. And it's like, well, this is nothing. I'm like, this is beautiful. I mean, I turned it all around, and I was amazed by the quality of work and seeing it firsthand. The fact that it caught the light in different directions and looked like aluminum. Everybody that saw it that day was very impressed. Hence the reason that I am talking to you tonight, because once I saw your stuff on Facebook, I knew you were working some with Legend to make the cockpits for the Corsair. I had to get up with you, man, especially for this airplane, because this is a beautiful model. And I asked you, I said, well, do you think you're going to be doing something for this? And you said, we're working on it. I was like, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. So tell us where you are and what's going on with this plane.
Yeah. So when you messaged me, I think we were on day 3 of modeling up the cockpit on that one. We are, if you want to pull up the photos, you can show where we are now. But yeah, so we're almost done with that. We're probably realistically the first full prototype I'm thinking should be done in about a week and a half. It's a little longer than I first told you because we're going to try to include a real gauge set with them. So little stickers you can put on and glass dials to place over them.
Wow.
Because you can see at our Corsair kit, we had a fogged out lens for our first round. So this one, because we're putting so much extra work into it, because the T-28 is such a big open, the cockpit's right there. It's the first thing you see when you walk up to the plane. We're putting a lot more detail into this one, and we're providing, even down to the toggle switches and the flip switches. The trim tabs are going to, the trim controls are going to be there. The throttle sticks. We're really putting in, trying to get this as close as possible while still fitting in the T-28. On top of that, on the side, we're also working on the new dummy engine for it. And so that I have the first one of the final prototypes for the gas version right here. With the front gear and that twin 40 and those custom, if you have the custom mufflers on, it is quite a tight fit. So this one's been taking a little bit longer, but if all works out, the idea is going to be that you're going to take your T-28 cowl and you're going to use your existing mounting ring that comes in the kit. And then this product, I'm going to take the cap off just for ease. So this is going to line up.
Oh yeah. That looks amazing, man. I can't wait to get that. That is amazing.
Yeah, so everything's going to line up nice with the existing mounting ring. That way you don't have to do any trimming or cutting. You'll still have the baffled openings to cool the engine.
There's no excuse for you guys not to buy this thing. That's going to look amazing. If you guys are building this airplane, you got to get a few extra bucks from somewhere, sell some drink bottles, whatever you got to do. That's just going to make this thing look incredible. I can't imagine. Like I said, I mean, this works. Don't get me wrong, guys, but I'm telling you, if you want that scale look, especially if you're putting in the pilots and everything else, you got to go this route. I mean, there's just no question. Why not do it if you're going to have the money in this airplane that you're going to have? Do you have any idea right now, ballpark price point on this particular radial for this engine?
Yeah, so the gas one is going to be, I have it right here. So the gas version is going to be $54.95. Okay. That's going to be the final price. And I actually just uploaded the pre-order for it if you want to get your order in first. I saw a comment if there was in the chat if there was going to be an electric version. Yeah, we're working on the electric version now. Because the gas version is so tight, we made some modifications to the motor design to get it to fit. With the electric version, since we have much more room and the retract's weight is pretty far back on it, we're going to give a full scale engine for that, and we're going to include a spacer ring that you're going to glue that wooden mount to. So if you're building an electric one, don't glue in the mount yet, because we're going to give you a spacer ring to set back the motor further. So you can will
the electric version be in the same price point as the gas, or a difference?
It's going to be a little more, just because it's going to be a larger engine. It's going to be a lot thicker, and it's going to come with a spacer ring. So it's probably going to be closer to the $70 figure.
Okay.
But yeah, so all of my direct fits, I didn't show it. They come with the aluminum tubing in the kit. Normally that's an extra on my website. Some people have it, some people don't. All my direct fits for the larger birds come with the push rod tubing, so you glue it right in to get that full look.
That's incredible, man. I mean, especially for the price point, especially for the time, the machinery, everything you've got going on. Brian Chambers says donate some plasma. What the heck? Everybody is looking at this thing going, hey man, this is great, I need to get this.
And they've been saying buy 3, shipping free.
Hey, yeah.
I saw someone just put it said sold out. I will fix that right now.
I think the natives are getting restless and they want roll call.
Exactly. So let's go to the top real quick and talk to everybody and say, hey, for everybody being here tonight and joining us. We've got Brian Chambers, Ken Wade, we've got Craig Beaven, we've got Philip Camp, Itzy J.O. Lowe, Craig Beaven. Let's see, John Halligan, Flying Tiger RC, Guy Caputo in the house. Thank you for being here, Guy. Mr. Jared Kirby's in the house, Jeff in Lower Alabama, or LA Jeff as I like to call him. Keith Christie, Michael Barr, Kevin McCabe. Let's see, who else we got in here? Just going down the list.
He's at the dinner as well. They're
got
partying.
Mom in the house. Let's see. Jared Kirby, as I said, making sure I just don't miss anybody as I head down. We got a good crowd here. Mr. Tim Toutant throwing the money around. We love it. Tim, if you're getting one of these planes, you need to go over and see Sean. Let's see. Noons Airborne. What's up, buddy? Of course, Wayne Shriver, always here. Let's see. Who else? Just want to miss anybody. Just appreciate all you guys. We've got
and the talent. You gotta.
I'm not there yet.
Talk about the talent.
Michael Rajka in the house. Philip Camp, Philip Camp, you know who he is. All you guys with Legend Hobby know who that is. He does some great work over there as well. Thank you for being here, Philip. Lyndon Stewart, all the way from Guyana, is here tonight. Let's see. Victor Shamalis is here tonight. Thanks for coming, Victor.
Hobo.
EQRC, CBO Hobo's here. Let's see. Going to the bottom of the list. Just want to make sure. And I think that's the bottom. We've got 38 people in here, and we appreciate all you guys for being here tonight. And then, of course, Our guest tonight is Sean from over at Scale RC Engines, and we are talking about.
He's way overeducated to be on our show.
Right? But we're here talking tonight, guys, about 3D printed parts that he does over there at Scale RC Engine, and does a fabulous job. If you guys don't follow him on Facebook, please do so and check that out as well, because he puts up posts very often of his awesome works in engineering. And if you guys have a plane that you possibly want something done for, you don't see it somewhere, just reach out, ask him and say, hey, can you do this? All he can do is say no, or I don't have time. But you never know. He might can hook you right up. He may have a file for it already. But Jared Kirby, appreciate it, man. Appreciate you throwing in the money. Jared Kirby said he wants a 3D printed part. I saw it up here a while ago for, let's see, what was it?
You can't show what he wants printed on the show.
That's
the kind of people that we
He wants one for his P-40. No, he says, I got to get one for my P-47. Well, Jared, I think the man on the show can help you out with that.
Absolutely.
Tonight, more than likely. But yeah, the work that you're putting into stuff, the pictures that we showed last week were incredible. Very impressive. And as you guys saw the premiere tonight, we had some of those pictures up there as well. The seats, the cockpit layout and everything. And you also did a schematic that you sent us as well of the real versus what you're doing.
Yep.
And everything was labeled, and that looked really good too.
Yeah, so that was actually out of a I think it was a training manual we found online, because we were trying, because the T-20, there were so many different versions through the years that we had to pick one. So we found that picture, and that's what we were basing everything off of. And then obviously we fit it to drop right into the ARFs, the layout. Yeah, that's the cockpit. If you examine, it's pretty much exactly how the scale one was, down to the gauges. We've been doing a lot of research on this one. But yeah, like you were saying, it's hundreds of hours of time just to put this stuff together and research.
Well, that's what I say, for the time, the effort, the money. Now, getting back, let's get on the cockpits here. This plane, guys, has two cockpits. You know, you have a front and a rear. Some guys, depending on what your budget allows, may not allow you to do both at one time. It may not allow you to put in two pilots at one time. So sometimes you got to wait a little while to do what you want to do. So with that being said, if guys want to opt to do just the front at this time and possibly do the rear later, is that an option, or do they have to buy everything at one time?
So right now we have the pre-order up, which has a discount to it for the whole thing. Once the full release comes out, we're going to come out, like, we're going to do front, rear, like you mentioned, but we're also going to offer like dash only options if you don't want the side panels, because the side panels are a bit of the cost.
Right.
And things like that. So it'll probably be two sets. It'll probably be the full scale set, front and rear, as separate options or together. And then it'll be just a dash set if you want just dashes and gauges, and you want to use the stock side panels.
So basically you're offering everybody with any price range of budget. I think that's awesome, because again, you got guys out here that might not can spring for the whole thing right now, but you know, if you just wanted to start off in sections, I think that's really good too. For, you know, why not? Yeah, I mean, for people that want to, you know, save $1 and then eventually upgrade. Now, with that, will you ever think you might offer something if they do everything at one time? Will there be a lower price, a discount, a pre-order discount, anything like that going on?
Yeah, so right now we have I just posted the pre-order discount just a minute ago. I can link that for you here.
Yeah, drop a link in here in the chat so guys can see that as well. I just dropped your link for your store in here so guys can check that as well.
So yeah, so right now we're doing a pre-order. Now the pre-order is going to be for $234.95 for a full cockpit cockpit kit, and that's going to include the gauges, the glass dials, all that. The regular price, now that we're adding all the extra materials to it for the dash, it's going to be $279.95. So you're getting quite a bit of savings if you pre-order it. I'm going to join the chat. One sec here. I didn't join the chat. Hold on.
Hey, it's okay, man. Like I said, some guys in here, like Michael Barr, are saying, "Will the cockpit accommodate a pilot with big boobs?" I guess if that's what you want to put in there playing with your joystick, I reckon that'll work, you know?
Actually, I have one of the pilots here. If you guys haven't checked out friend of mine over at Warbird Pilots.
Yeah, we actually have right here behind me. We have 2 of these that Thomas sent us. They're the 10-inch pilots right here with the
Yep.
moving head.
Yep.
Yeah,
I
these
didn't
are
get the
great.
moving head, but
Yeah.
yeah, those
That's
are
why I say, you know, if you're going for that full scale, man, you gotta, it's a no-brainer to get this stuff put in there. You're putting a pilot in there, you gotta fix him a good place to sit, man.
yeah, and they do, and we're going to be working around that pilot too. So I'll when I release the full version, we have it. I'll put some tips and tricks on. I work with I'm friends with Adam over at Warbird Pilots. We actually fly in the same flying club, but I'll work with him for some tips and tricks on how to, if we have to modify this to fit, like pull stuffing out here and there, and I'll do a tutorial on that so guys don't have to guess with how to modify these in order to drop them into the cockpit and make them look good.
Yeah, and those are the 10-inch pilots, guys, which, you know, of course, Legend Hobby has bigger or whatever, but these are the same pilots that go in the Sky Raider, and these are 10-inch. In case any of you guys have the Legend Hobby T-28 and you're curious, that's what they are, the 10-inch, and that's what you need to get. And these right here do have the moving head. They also, give me that. If you notice here, guys, this is really some cool scale features. If you notice the lens, they do lift up just like the real thing does here by pushing this button or pulling it back as it would be. And that's really cool too. So if you want a different look on your pilot, you can raise his lenses up by just pushing that little button up and down. And his lenses will raise up and now they're down. The suit and everything on these pilots is phenomenal. And these do have the moving head because I said, again, if you're going for the scale look, you might as well go for the scale look. And that's where, you know, the cockpits and the canopies come into play, and then the radial. I mean, guys, again, this plane is so beautiful. If you're going to do it, spend a few more dollars. You've already spent what you spent on this airplane. We all know what we spent. And if you're going to do it, go ahead and spend a little bit more and make it a showpiece. You know, have it sitting there statically and everybody's going, wow.
Ooh,
you know, yeah, ooh, yeah.
That looks like it cost him like $50 more.
Exactly, yeah.
But it does make it look a big difference.
It
Rather
does,
than
man.
the sticker panel that you
Yeah.
get, you know. I mean, I get it. I have the sticker panel on mine.
Yeah. Well, and not everywhere, guys, offers the lenses for these things. A lot of times you have to make your lenses. You have to cut plastic or UCA or whatever. If he's going to have the lenses in here too, it's going to give that true, realistic, you know, depth and effect of looking at those gauges, man. I mean, you cannot beat that. I just think that's incredible. And the fact that you can even do that and offer that along with everything else you're putting in here, I mean, I think it's an awesome deal. Now, suppose somebody comes along and wants to get everything, including the radial. Do you give them a package price on everything, or how does that work?
Yeah, so we haven't hit on a topic I haven't released yet, but we're going to be doing that for the T-28 and the Corsair.
Okay.
So we're actually going to be doing a radial, a cockpit kit, and the Warbird pilots as an ultimate scale package, and there will be a discount associated with that.
Okay. Michael Reichka was saying, Sean, can you please post on Facebook when the electric version engine will be available for pre-order?
Yep. Yeah, we can do that. I try to post as soon as things release on the store. There's always a Facebook post right behind it. So I'll make sure to post those as soon as the pre-order's out for the electric version. I'm mounting up my motor hopefully next week, so I'll have those measurements dialed in.
That's awesome, man. Like I said, I'm excited. I can't wait to get everything. I'm working on the cockpit now. Another gentleman I was speaking with this week, guys, in case any of you are working on the cockpit, and you may notice that the plastic back in here may not be the perfect, you know, fit like you want it to smooth. He and I were talking about ways to get a little bit better, snugger fit. And in doing so, I've tried a little bit of heat, which if you use very mild heat, like a blow dry or something, it'll work. But he found out that if you take water and get it not boiling, but get it on the stove and use a temperature sensor and get it to 180 degrees, and you just kind of dip the canopy a little bit, you can reform it some. So if you need a tighter fit back here, whatever you need, the 180 degree water will give you a little bit of time to kind of bend and mold things without messing up the finish or anything like that. So that's good to know, because certain glues and tapes can mess up these canopies, and you don't want to mess things up and booger it up right when you're starting.
Well,
so
they're delicate, number one.
They are very delicate.
I mean, it's not like they're this thick on an A10.
Well, that's right.
100 layers of plastic.
Exactly.
And
that's right.
1,200 pounds of titanium bathtub.
Well, and I mean, the thing of it is, it's not even as thick as this plastic right here, so
leave my engine alone.
You got to be careful with it. But I just thought, that was a good tip for you guys, because this canopy can be a little bit of a bear if you guys are newer to modeling. I mean, if you stop and think about it for a while before you glue anything or do anything.
Yeah, that'd be wise, because
Yeah,
I've had to unglue it, and it's not pretty.
No, it's not pretty.
It's like, what happened?
Yeah.
Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
And then you got to sand
happened.
things and start over. So take your time on this, guys. You want it to be right. Don't rush it. Don't glue things until you get your fitment right, because you do have the 3 pieces here. They've got to fit together right. I've had a couple of guys that have talked to me and reached out to me about that, and I've tried to help them and get them where they need to be. So you've got to make sure all of your, I call them formers or spars or whatever, are lined up properly, and one's not leaning or leaning out this way, because if they are, nothing's going to line up.
No.
So the biggest thing that I would suggest for a lot of you guys, once you get these 2 formers right here in this center section glued, get a piece and cut for the center that will space them apart properly and make sure they're on a perfect 90 when they're standing up on the little thing that slides. And that'll also give you more added protection of this canopy fitting properly and not having a gap between it and the back canopy if it's slightly leaning forward. So just my 2 cents on that. So, but yeah. So with that, what other planes are you working on? What are you getting into? What's your best selling? I mean, what's going on other than this stuff?
So so right now I'm finishing up this L19, which I actually picked up secondhand from somebody in the chat. I won't say who in case he doesn't want me to say.
Yeah.
So that one's going up next. I have a yellow Zero, that those old yellow ARFs, those fiberglass ones. I managed to find a new never flown one that someone put together a while back. So that's going up for the spring. The T-28, that one's pretty much done. I just have to do a couple more things. The T-28 is next on the bench. Other than that, we've been doing a lot of custom work lately. So like I was saying, if you were getting at, if you send photos to me, I can do any cut, any scale feature. So I have lots of customers who like that. That motor you mentioned in the beginning down at your field, that was a custom one-off that he sent me plans to, and we made it work so it was as direct fit to his kit as possible. So I do all sorts of custom work like that too. I just released one engine that was for a British crop duster that someone asked me to do. I had another one go out to a museum that was going in a big obscure biplane that no one made a radial for. But lately it's been just all about cockpits. We're trying to go down hit all the major ones. All these direct fit cockpits will be adapted into generic versions for other planes you're building.
So basically there's not much. If somebody needs something custom, you don't turn anybody away if you can get it done, is what you're saying.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, we've done all sorts of little details. I even did little exhausts on one of the bombers. They wanted the little scoops to go all the way around a one he was working on. But yeah, I just need a couple really like clear photos, and I can model just about anything up for you.
So there you go, guys. So if you have a plane that you're building, or one you maybe found, got at a good deal or whatever, and you want to really spruce it up, send some good pictures, and Sean can get it possibly done for you and work it out for you. I mean, and again, that's what's going to make your airplanes look really good. I mean, if you want especially for guys that are doing electric, if you're not doing gas and you don't see the motor or the engine like you do in a lot of the gas planes, and you're doing electric and you really want it to look like gas or scale, well, get some good pictures of the engine you're looking at and send them over. And I mean, hey, you never know, the man might can hook you up and get it done for you and get it right. I mean, that's pretty much what I'm hearing. Is that right?
Yep, that's it. Yeah, I've been doing it all the time. There's a lot of custom work out there that people have been wanting. So I see in the chat, Phil Camp says I can tell him that I bought the airplane off of him.
There you go. Yeah. Well, and that's the thing. I mean, a lot of guys pick up planes that are, either let's say they may be discontinued or whatever, and somebody had a kit and they just want to really do it up. I've got a Hanger 9 P47 hanging up here right now. Matter of fact, I've got 3 of them, 2 in the box and 1 over here with a Sato FG 36. And it's got the plastic, thing that came with the airplane in it. A couple of holes are cut out for the radial. That would be something too that would look amazing. And a lot of guys love a P47, and I think there's right many people out there that have the Hanger 9 edition. So again, that's something too. If you really wanted to dress that airplane up there and get it looking good, that's something I may need to get up with you too and see if we can't get that one done. Again, that's a discontinued airplane. So guys, you can't, a lot of times if you crack a cowl or whatever, you can't get those parts. Hey, get it 3D printed and figure out how to get it in there and make it look good,
Yeah, definitely.
That's kind of what I'm thinking, because it's got to look better than that plastic up there anyway, Yeah,
we've been we're trying out our first cowl now. The shapes are a little tricky, but once we're giving it a shot right now. We're doing a SOP with pup one for somebody, so we'll see how that goes and go from there.
What type of filament and things like that are you using for your layouts or your prints?
So it's kind of we're using mostly. I mean, there's all the plastics have weird names if you're not familiar with it, but we're using not generic, but you're running the mill PLA for most of it. When I picked the silver, I must have ordered a dozen different silvers online to get the right look that I was going for. And that's been holding up really good. Like that photo I sent you last week that you showed on the show, it's very heat resistant for the motors. We're starting to do a little more in a material that's a little stronger. It's called PET G. It's got a hair higher temperature resistance. So we're starting to work into that to maybe swap out into that color, but we're trying to make sure we have one that matches and functions as well as the success we've had with this one. But really a lot of it comes down to just the geometry. There's the shape is a lot more to the strength than the plastic itself.
So basically then the filament that you're using as far as your gas engines and things like that, for guys that were asking last week, is pretty heat safe. Heat doesn't bother it, things like that.
Yeah, no, we haven't had a single issue. I mean, we've sold about 1,000 motors now, going on our second year.
That's a lot.
And I haven't had anybody contact me that anything warped or melted. I mean, and if it did, I would immediately send another one. But I've been shipping them. I have a lot of them going to Florida. I have quite a few going out west. I have quite a few down to Texas and even overseas. I get a lot of overseas orders lately from Europe.
Well, now
no one's come back.
Onto a kind of a different, in the same 3D printing category, but different planes. I've got a lot of jets and things like that, and I've also know that there are a couple people out there that print the wheel covers and things like that. Is that something as well that if guys had certain jets and they wanted upgraded wheel covers that you would do or could do?
Yeah, it's definitely something we could do. I'd need photos of what they're looking for exactly, but yeah, that's definitely, like, if you gave me the real jet the wheel cover, it's definitely something we could do. I'd probably recommend gluing a metal clip on, instead of trying to make the plastic work, but we could definitely get the shape and any details on there. And I've also started to incorporate even like where I've been playing with the idea of maybe printing a giant scale airplane in the future.
Wow.
And I've been playing with the idea of doing the CAD work behind modeling rivets right on the plane, the panel lines right on the plane to give a real scale look. I mean, that's really far out, but it's a concept I've been toying with on top of all this that we've started some of the CAD work for.
Yeah, well, that's pretty cool. I mean, especially your bigger scale airplanes, the rivets would be awesome just to kind of have them on a sticker and lay them up there and, have them placed,
Yeah, that was another thing. Like the Corsair has a lot of I haven't tried it yet. We did a design where it's like you were saying, where it's a sheet with the little the raised sections of the wing,
right?
And we're gonna try and see if we can. It's super thin, so it's flexible, and then it's almost like a vacuum form, and we're gonna see how it goes on the wing. It might be something where you have to use some lightweight spackle to get the edge down, but then airbrush the plane again. But we've been experimenting around that a lot.
Hey, if people are sitting here taking a pin like I've done before and putting each individual rivet on there, I have done that on the Corsair. I've done it on the Spitfire. You're talking about a lot of damn specks and dots with a pointed Sharpie, man. Let me just tell you. So yeah, that would be awesome. And actually, my AL-37, which is an airliner, I have the wheel covers on it to make it more scale. And basically, with the plastic factory wheel with the printed wheel, I just use foam tack and it holds it really well, and there was no issues.
Okay. Yeah.
Holds it really well. And it gives it more of a scale appearance, and it does look good. Like I said, I've got a gentleman that has printed some stuff for the F-14, the F-4, the AL-37, and everything that he did looked incredibly well. And I've put them on most of my planes. So it really does dress up a jet wheel if you want a more scale, realistic look.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, it's definitely something we can get into for you if you got anything you want us to do too.
Yeah, and I was just sitting here looking. Philip Camp's got the big 156-inch L19.
That's why this one's here.
Is that what size that is?
No, this is Phil's. This is Phil's old one.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay. Yeah. We've actually got the, what is it,
96?
96?
98.
We've got a made in it. We've got it all ready to go. Wayne's got it built and everything dialed in. We've got you got the prop, the motor broke in. It's ready to go, right? Yeah. And then we've also got the 3D bombs that Wayne's installed on that to be dropped that Thomas is printing. Matter of fact, Legend Hobby is sold out of those bombs right now.
Did they really?
Yeah.
That's the bomb.
Yeah, they're sold out of those.
I saw those. Those are cool.
Yeah, I mean, it is cool. And actually, the actuators, everything's 3D printed. And those look amazing on those RQ-7s. And they're actually printing the turret and everything, especially for FPV. Yeah, here's Wayne's bombs.
That's my bombs. Eat me, baby.
So, yeah, those bombs are great. You can put baking soda or you can put powder or whatever you want to in them.
Narcos, whatever you want.
And I think some of the different shape ones for the newer.
Yeah, those are cool.
Yeah, I think some of those he's actually going to put some Nerf whistles in so that they whistle when they're coming down, Now, I've had some guys ask me too, Sean, do you or can you or would you print Nerf whistles for guys with EDF jets?
Maybe we could try.
I've got a guy that sent me some, and I know that Larry over at 5280 RC, which makes the afterburner lights, I know he makes some because he sends some out with his afterburner sometimes. And several guys, somebody was asking me, I think in last week or week before show, did I know anybody that I could drop a link for that could print some Nerf whistles? Now, I've got two different varieties. I've got a shorter one and I've got a longer one. And depending on the thickness of your foam, I've got 4 in my A10, my 80 millimeter. It sounds great. I've got them in the, I've got them in the, I think I've got them in the Viper jet.
Got them in the airliner.
I've got them in the AL-37. I love Nerf whistles because they just give that good sound, especially coming in for a landing or taking off. And it's a very cost-effective thing versus buying a Nerf football to get 4 whistles out of it. Damn, Nerf football is like $50,
Yeah. Yeah. Are you just mounting them? Sorry. Are you just mounting them on the outside of the plane, or are you putting them behind?
No. They go inside the actual tube.
In the duct.
In the duct.
They go right in the duct. Okay.
You take a drill bit. Matter of fact, hang on. I'll show you what I'm talking about. I got some right here. Hang on a second. Let me move this airplane for just a second. And I've got them, like I said, in 2 different sizes. Let me put my hands
This
on.
is his vest side. We'll take a commercial break right now. What was that we're selling?
Okay, so these are the larger diameter Nerf whistles, which I'll show you guys. And these are 3D printed.
It's like a roach clip.
I mean, this is it right here. It looks just like a regular Nerf whistle.
You gotta work it, man. You gotta work it.
So hold on a minute. Those are which one you got? The bigger one? Okay, so when the wind goes over these, you get the whistling sound. Now, these are shorter as far as the length, a little fatter diameter. These right here are the not quite so big diameter as far as this shaft goes, but a little bit longer length. And they give a little bit different. Yeah, you're doing good. But these basically, okay, so your foam has got to be a certain thickness, right? Right here.
Mm.
You take a drill bit and you just go in there and you drill out the size of this diameter. You place it in so that the airflow hits it and goes over this, coming through the fan and out the hole. And it gives that whistling of a jet turbine. Yeah. Sounds really good. And when you've got two EDFs like on the A10 or on the AL37 or like the Viper or the F14, these things just wake it up and make it sound like a real turbine as it's going down the tarmac or landing or whatever.
Sometimes it sounds like a bad bearing.
Could be that too. But yeah, I mean, I've got a bag of them here. And like I said, last week, someone was asking if we knew anybody that made these. So if that's something you'd be interested in making, there are guys out there wanting these for their jets, so they don't have to buy a whole new Nerf ball and pull them out. So
yeah, I don't see why not. It seems like it's just a.
And I'm sure you can find the file anywhere, especially being that you print already. But it doesn't matter the color per se because you're not going to see them. Now these are a silver monofilament. Some ones I've got before are black. Some are white. This depends. Typically, your foam is white inside the tubing from behind the fan. So white, white's always a good color.
All right.
So, that's just something that, I've had several guys asking about. So, yes, who is this? Let's see. A buddy of mine is wanting a few.
Working on a few,
yeah. So there's definitely, with guys with EDF jets, there's definitely a requirement for these for somebody if they could get them out there and put them. So with what you're already doing, if you could maybe put some different sizes on the website, I guarantee you they'd sell.
Yeah, sure. I have a couple functional parts, so I don't see why not. I guess I could try it out on my 262.
Yeah. Well, I mean, typically, like, what machines do you normally run?
Like what? Well, I have a bunch. What do you like the?
Like for your bigger prints, like the Corsair Radial and things like that.
Yeah, so I have a couple. They're one. My main one's the brand is Moxie. I have one of those that does my half scale stuff, and then I just have I have like I was telling you earlier, I have the bamboos for the multicolor stuff, but there's mostly I'm running Prusas. In the beginning I was getting a couple different kinds, but mostly I have a lot of Prusas for the medium stuff. The bigger stuff I have that Moxie that does a bunch of stuff on now. I had one raised 3D one that for a while that I was doing, but because it's been growing so fast, we've been swapping in and out. There's just so many printer brands out there that we've been trying a bunch of them. But I'd say if you're home and you want to try getting into this, I would definitely recommend Bamboo because it's just the most plug and play. You don't need to know to tighten this wheel and keep this belt tension. There's none of that. It's just go, and the parts are easy to pull out and put in. They sell everything on their website. This isn't a sponsored ad. It's just from my experience, getting people straight into it. I mean, that's the easiest way to get into it.
Well, that's actually, like I told you earlier, Thomas and I have been talking about it, and he highly recommended the Bamboo for somebody getting into it, somebody wanting to do some home stuff, or for servo arms or things like that if you may need it. For the ease of use, you can run it right from an iPhone or things like that once you get used to doing it and everything. Scott Monarch was saying a 10-pack of Nerf whistles, I think is what he was talking about, would be good because typically you put 2 of these in each nacelle. So if you've got a jet with 1 nacelle, you put 2 of them, 1 on each side of the airflow. And again, if you've got a jet with twins, you're normally going to put 4. And again, depending on the thickness or the density of the foam on the inner wall, that's typically what you have to go by. You don't want the Nerf whistle to stick out into the airflow. You want it to sit down into the foam and the wind just to go over the hole so that it gives that really good tone as the air is coming over it.
Got it.
But yeah, they, like I said, man, I've got them in a lot of my jets and they really sound good. What I like about them is when you're coming in for a landing, if it's a jet that doesn't require a lot of airspeed because it's a floater or whatever, as you cut your throttle back, a lot of times you can't hear that EDF running. Whereas if you've got that wind coming over those whistles, you can actually hear it And for me, I like to be able to hear whatever I'm flying. Okay.
Mm.
I'm not the type of person that likes to fly an airplane with 5 other people flying because I can't hear what mine's doing. Whether it would be electric or wings flying gas or whatever, I like to hear what I'm doing. I think, huh? Yeah, well, you're deaf as a stump anyway.
Yeah, he's right.
But don't you like to be able to hear your plane?
Yeah.
I mean, regardless whether it's electric or gas.
That's why I don't run a muffler.
Exactly. I mean, it's just easy to hear, you know?
No, that's the 3D guys. Doesn't matter if they have a muffler or not.
No,
when 3D guys are sitting there right there in front of you, anybody watching?
Right.
I mean, it's cool. I can't do it.
What's your favorite to fly, Sean? Do you like scale?
Yeah, what's your fave?
I mean, I'm a warbird guy. I'm like I said, I've been
He'll fit right in.
Yeah,
He'll fit right in.
so you like to fly scale?
Well, so mostly I'm flying scale stuff. My current favorite right now, I've been flying my Fokker D7 from Hangar 9 a lot. Last season I was flying that one a lot. I have a Hangar 9 Beaver too that I've been flying a lot.
I got the big Beaver from Hangar 9. I've got that one too.
You got that one too. It's just a great go-to airplane. It's getting a little old, but
you don't even have to think. You just go and fly subconsciously. You're just relaxed.
Yeah.
Enjoy.
But yeah, no, I've been a little bit. I have a couple biplanes. I have an old Aeroworks Checkmate that I'm getting ready to take out this season. So I do like I like the stuntier biplanes too. But yeah, lately it's just been that D7 and the Beaver last season. Like I said earlier, the Zero and this L19 are going to be flying a lot this season, along with that T-28 if I hopefully, assuming it gets finished soon.
Well, that's the thing, man. We all seem to run out of space. I mean, we all need bigger shops or bigger trailers or whatever. And then we cry about we want bigger airplanes. Well, I mean, how much space do you got to have more space if that's the case. So, I mean, do you make anything as well as say like I know like this particular airplane, the T-28, has the nylon screw ends for the canopy, the wing tubes. Do you ever make anything like that for people?
No, I won't. And the reason I won't is because there are people that say you can, but the way it works, if I made a screw, it would be prone to shear.
Gotcha.
And same thing with the tube. So I won't. I make this a connector. So when you build for the ARFs where you leave the batteries in the airplane all the time and you're charging the lives, I make it I make a connector for the EC3 to mount it so you can charge through the outside of the airplane. You just build a little hatch and this bolts right in and they're backed connectors, so you don't have to go fishing for the wires. I'll do functional parts like that.
Do you have one of those you could show us?
Somewhere.
That might be something guys would definitely be interested in.
I can link it right. I'll put the link up. They're right on the website.
That sounds like that would be a pretty useful thing there for anybody's airplane for the most part.
Yeah, it's actually quite a popular seller. I've been meaning to go back and do all the popular life battery connectors because it was something someone local had asked me to do. And then I put it up. We put them in a couple airplanes, tried them out, and once after that, we put them up on the website, and they were actually quite popular here. I'll drop the link in the chat now so people can check it out.
Yeah, definitely. And tell us again what these do now.
So if you're building a plane and you have the life for lipo receiver packs, and certain builds you can't take the batteries in and out easily. I mean, I prefer to make them so you charge outside the plane, but on the ones you can't, I made this bracket, and so the EC3 plug, they're backed from the backside, so you can build a little hatch on the side of the airplane or in the top, depending on your build, obviously. And you screw this little mount in, and now your balance port and your charge port are always accessible, so you could just run a lead to that to the outside of the airplane.
He's got more talent. He shouldn't be on this show.
Yeah, hey, that's nice. That's really cool, man. That is really cool. So is there, like the guys flying turbines and things like that, is there anything you make for those specifically that you think would be beneficial to any of these guys that fly those?
Not yet, but if anyone has any recommendations, I'll gladly hear them out.
Yeah, there you go. Because I mean, somebody's always needing something typically. So, but again, you will make cockpits for the turbine jets as well too, correct?
Yeah, down the line, we're gonna hit all the big warbirds first. I think we're gonna do, the Mustang, the Spitfire, we did the Corsair. the T-28, and then we're going to obviously release generic versions for all these direct fit ones. So if you have, was it ESM made a big yellow T-28, there'll be a generic version. It won't be a direct fit, but it can be trimmed and fitted.
Yeah.
And like, I like top flights. Top flights are huge at our club. So I have one brand new top flight Mustang borrowed from one club member. I have my Focke-Wulf 190 for next season. That's going to get one. So yeah, we're going to hit all the major warbirds, World War II, then World War I. Then we will probably start moving into jets from there. But
and
yeah,
all of your, and like the cockpit for the Corsair or the T-28, all of your stuff basically comes with, you don't have to paint anything, right? It's done.
Yeah, that was the whole. We did I won't name the brand. I got a cockpit kit to put in something, and it was a lot more work than the pictures looked.
Yeah.
So I was like, this. At first, I wasn't gonna do cockpits, but then after that, I was like, well, let's give it a shot. But yeah, they're in full color. There's no painting. The direct fits. There's no trimming. There's no cutting. Nothing. You should be able to drop all these right into the direct fit ones. The generics, again, will be full color. You might have to trim, obviously, depending on what you're putting it in. But yeah, I don't like painting small things. I'm not very good at it.
Well, and it can be very tedious, and especially if somebody's got a little bit of a shaky hand or whatever, it can be a pain to try to get little switches and things painted silver or red or whatever. So that's awesome that you don't have to go in there and paint all this stuff. I think basically, I don't mind trimming a little something if it's got to be a perfect fit. If it's not quite right, that's one thing. But to sit there and take a fine tip paintbrush or something and paint something, that's another thing. So I think it's fabulous that you can take something right out of the box, maybe sand it, whatever, and put it in and it's done. Do you recommend, what is your go-to recommend for applying these types of cockpit?
Into the plane itself?
Yeah.
So you're going to use medium CA to glue the parts of the cockpit together. You can use kicker, but be warned, it will fuse them permanently. Like there's no ungluing any of this stuff.
Right.
So if you're gonna glue, make sure if you're gonna use kicker, just make sure everything's perfectly placed. For the cockpits, depending on how the plane comes, sometimes the fours are a little warped. I've noticed, or you'll have a glue seam or something. So I use personally, I use Goop or E6000.
Okay.
I sell a glue that I recommend for installing motors into cowls. So it wouldn't be for this T-28 because it has a specific mount that works. But if anyone buys one of my motors to glue straight to the cowl, I do sell it's an epoxy paste. So instead of like Goop and E6000 where they drip like epoxy, even though it's much thicker and slower, this stuff doesn't move. So when it's full wet, you stick it wherever you stick it. You can hang it upside down. It's not going to move at all.
Wow. And what is that? A tube? Is it a bottle? How does it come?
So it comes in a jar. I got some right here actually. It's actually an American-made company right out of Florida. It's called Epo Grip Paste. So I don't know if I can get that on the camera.
Okay.
It's called Epo Grip Paste. It's like I said, made right in Florida. I got a hold of them after I tried it. A friend of mine had it. I tried it out. I loved it. I called the company, became a dealer for it. It's just really great stuff. It is real slow cure time, so it's 20. Well, it says 6 to 8 hours. I like to leave it 24 hours. But it's got that rubber cement dry. So for the gas birds, the vibrations, it'll soak up a lot of that, which I liked a lot.
Is that does it dry clear? Does it have a color?
It's like a milky white the way it dries. So
Okay.
so you can kind of see it. It almost I'll pull it out of the package. So this is one of the two parts. It dries a little lighter than this.
Okay. All right. And what do you apply it with?
So I use a really fat we call it tongue depressor to mix it up. It works better to fold it back and forth rather than your epoxy. Yeah. You really want to just keep folding it until you get obviously the consistent color. And then what I do is I just put on gloves and I just make fillets with my hand. And sometimes I'll take out a mini little scraper and or the tongue depressor, and I'll make nice fillets and get it packed in really nice between the cowl and the motor. It also works really good for lead on the front of the airplane.
Okay.
I've had some
Well, that's
problems.
something too that, because there's no question we're going to have the radio for this plane. That's a must-have. So that being the case, maybe once we get that here, I can get with you and we could do a video together and show how this is done. So if guys have any questions, we can show them how to apply this glue and also how to put the radio in so that it sits properly, everything looks good. Because again, if you're going to do something like this, we want to make sure people know how to do it and that it looks good, So yeah, that's one thing I would like to possibly look in and get back with you on doing something like that and let guys see what we're doing here.
Yeah, I just want someone commented about the kicker. Turning things white. I use Bob Smith medium CA, not foam safe, and I found that as long as you use the not foam safe kicker, I don't get any white on mine. I've seen some kickers cause a lot of white, so that's a good point I should mention. I've noticed the Bob Smith brand, the purple bottle, and the kicker don't give me. They just dry clear.
Yeah,
so obviously do a test, but.
Litz RC said, I just ordered the 5-pack battery connector. That's going to work great for my Flybaby I'm building. So awesome. Good deal, Litz. Appreciate you going over there and hitting Sean up. That's great. Let's see. Jeff, are you going to use the twin stinger? Yeah, we're going to put a twin stinger in here. But here's the thing, guys. Wayne actually noticed this. When we were going to do the electric start on this particular airplane, it won't work because of the electric motor and everything sitting on it. The carburetor's here, or if you flip it over, the motor's here for the electric start. So we reached out to Thomas. Thomas said, oh, no, okay, no problem. We'll handle this. So we're waiting on the twin stinger without electric start to go in here now. And we're going to put the electric start in something else coming. You got to wait for that one. That's going to happen too. But yeah, so we're definitely going with the twin stinger. So we definitely want to put the 3D printed radio in here. We're going to have the mufflers, of which we're waiting on right now to get everything together. Right now, I'm getting all of the linkages for the pull system on the rudder end. That's done. The elevator stuff is getting done, which is 440 rod, and we're looking at that and finding out we're going to have to put a little bit of bend in that coming out of the fuselage because it is so tight. So get Wayne back over here, and we're going to do some modifications to that as well. The rods are also, we found, a little bit long too, didn't we?
We did.
Yeah. So we're going to have to cut those down and
rethread them.
I think
no biggie.
Wayne said he had a tap. But that's no big deal.
It's just another day on the modeling.
It is. I mean, that's part of modeling, guys. I mean, if you're going to build something this nice, you're going to have to model. I mean, that's what it is. It's just like putting in a cockpit or putting in whatever you're going to do. It's modeling. So with that being said, I appreciate you being here tonight. And guys, go over to scalercengines.com. We've got the website running across. I've dropped the link a couple of times. Sean has dropped some links in here. If you didn't see it, go back and look for it. And check out the stuff and get your pre-orders in, guys, because right now is the time to get it. Because once these things, guys start getting into the cockpit on these and they start heading out of there, they're going to be gone quick. Don't you like that tonight? Okay? You hold on to that, all right? But we really, I appreciate you so much for being here, man. I hope you will get some sales from this. Let's see, Jeff, did you use a spinner?
Oh, yeah.
T-28 from Legend and all threaded, 12mm shaft. We're putting it on, the one we're putting up here is this one right here, Michael. It's the one that we got for it. If you can, let's see, has it got the writing or anything on it? It says spinner on the box. That's what we're putting in there, and that's going to go on the Twin 40. I don't know if that same spinner works for the electric version or not. So I'm not sure. I can't answer that question. You have to look in it or either reach out to Thomas, and I'm sure he'd be happy to tell you that. But yeah, I appreciate you being here tonight, man, and talking to us and telling us about what you got. I'm excited to get that in here. I can't wait. What are you thinking as far as projected time?
So so I did the math. With the color changing, officer, these prints take a long time.
Sure.
I should have the full. So I've been showing you the pictures as we've been going. We should have the first done cockpit by the end of the month at the latest. And then it's going to take about 2 weeks to produce the first 6 sets.
Okay.
And
All
then
right,
from
well,
there, there's a designated machine sitting idle to just run the T-28 cockpit.
yeah.
So we're gonna
Well, I
try
mean,
and
it
get them out
makes
as
sense, man.
fast.
There's a lot of detail in those, and when you've got all these color changes, you don't have to paint anything, guys. I mean, it is basically plug and play. You
Put
know
it
what I
in,
mean?
spin it.
That's right, and it'll look fantastic. So, I just appreciate everything. I can't wait to see it, hold it, touch it, put it in here, size it up, fit it up, and get back with everybody. And maybe once we get it in our hands, guys, that when we get it, we can get Sean back in here and we'll go over it all again and look at it up close. And but in the meantime, guys, please head over to scalercengines.com if you have any questions. Can they reach you at this email if they have any questions or anything like that?
Yeah, there's a couple ways you can reach me. There's a contact form right on the website where it'll send me an email,
Okay.
or there's a chat on the website that goes right to my cell phone. So as long as I'm not sleeping or flying, or I usually am pretty quick to answer the chat. And if you send me a message on that and I don't get back to you, it'll send you an email with the answer once I get back.
Excellent.
I'm
Well,
able to get to you.
so there you go, guys. You get great customer service too, and Sean will get back to you. So if you have any questions, don't hesitate. But I'm telling you, if you don't get in on these orders, especially with as many of these airplanes as Legend Hobby is sold and is selling, you're going to miss the boat, and you're going to have to wait a while to get your stuff done. So go ahead and get your pre-orders in. It helps Sean. It helps you guys. You don't have to order everything at one time if you don't want to. You can kind of a la carte it, as we said tonight, get kind of what you want. But if you do order everything, including the radial, you get a better price. So it's kind of like, why wouldn't you, if you can and it fits your budget, get it done and make this plane look good, because you're going to thank yourself when everybody at the field's drooling over it, staring at it, don't you think?
Yeah, baby.
So that's just what I'm saying. So with that, we're going to let you go, Sean. And if you'll hang out for a minute, I'm going to put you in the back room one more time, and we'll come back to you in just a minute. Guys, check it out. Hit the like button. Now, do you have an Instagram?
Yep, I have Instagram and Facebook.
Okay,
it's
and
just
your
Scale RC
Instagram,
Engines.
what is your Instagram?
It's Scale RC Engines.
Scale RC Engines. So there you go, guys. So you can see some good pictures over there as well.
What about his OnlyFans page?
OnlyFans? I don't know. Well, you know, hey.
Just checking.
Yeah.
We want to make sure we cover all the bases.
That's right. So yeah, so hang out for just a minute, man, and we'll come back. But thank you so much for being here.
Thank you
If
for
guys have
having me.
any questions, hit Sean up over at Scale RC Engines, and he'll get back with you. And we'll be right there, Sean. Hang on a second.
All right.
All right, guys. So hope you enjoyed tonight's show. We kept a good crowd.
Picked his
going
brains,
on there.
dude. The guy's talented.
I'm telling you, man, he's very talented.
I don't even have 1% of that.
Well, you know, I mean, it takes you got to have detail to do.
You notice it's none of the old guys doing it.
No,
It's
exactly.
just like the good-looking, smart young guys.
Yeah.
Us old guys.
Well, that's because they have the brain to take on the technology
don't
to
have
do what
that.
it's got to do. Us older guys don't
Yeah,
care.
but you cut off electricity and we survive.
Exactly. That's right. Yeah, we can grow a garden. You know what I mean?
Old age and
Swap a
treachery
hog.
beats youth and skill.
Milk a cow. You know.
Oh,
that's what
yeah.
we can
Kill
do.
a pig, cook
Yeah,
a pig,
That's right. You know.
plant bacon seeds.
Exactly. Bacon.
We know how to do that. If you guys want some of those, I can send them to you.
Exactly. That's right. So we appreciate you guys for being here. Please, if you can, and you want to make your planes look awesome, go over and hit Sean up over at rcengines.com. Whether it be for the T-28, the Corsair, or whatever it is, your jets, if you need something.
Got a lot of good stuff.
Yeah, Nerf whistles. Let him know. I mean, ask. It doesn't hurt to ask. And if he can get it done for you, I think he's the type of person that'll try and get it out to you, because it only helps him. And it's also supporting your small business guys, the guys that are making this hobby. I mean, they're putting all their effort. This isn't his full-time job. You have to understand, he works every day too, just like we do. I do anyway. What do you do?
I work.
So he
Cardboard sign.
Yeah, so he says. Exactly. But so yeah, I mean, you want to support the little guys in these hobbies, because they're helping this industry, and
Absolutely.
they enjoy it as much as
They're
we
really
do.
the backbone of what's left of our hobby.
Exactly.
I mean, because usually nobody builds anymore.
That's right.
I mean, unless you're usually just an older guy that does it.
Yeah, exactly.
And they usually do a very good job, but you know, it's like everybody wants it now. I want to fly
Oh
now.
yeah, I want to put 6
And I'm
screws
great.
in and
Yeah,
fly.
trust me,
Yeah.
I have those fly now. Yeah, let's
Oh,
go.
We got them. Yeah, that's
Let's
right.
go.
That's right.
I just
How
wanna
fast
eat.
is it?
Let's eat and fly. How
Yeah.
fast does it go? What's the voltage?
Right. Exactly. Check the voltage.
How much is left in the pack?
Yeah, exactly. Nobody says how much is in the tank.
Oh man, did he crash again? Shoot. Yeah, everybody has those in their club.
That's right, man. It is
I'm one
what
of
it
them.
is. Yeah. Well, we've all done it, you know. So
I'm sure there's plenty more left too.
yeah. But we appreciate you guys for being here tonight. Another Tuesday night edition of Flight Club, and hopefully we can get Sean more out there than he already is. We just appreciate him letting us join his team and help him and get it out there and get the word out for you guys. And hopefully as soon as we can get it, we'll get it in this airplane. We'll get it done for you. And we'll show you right here firsthand it going in and what it looks like. So you can say you saw it here. And hopefully it won't be long. We'll get it done. So stick around for that. We will see you guys next week, same time, same night, Tuesday night, 8:30. We appreciate you. We hope you guys have a great week, safe week. And we'll see you right here next time. Any final words? That's it. Take care and have a good night.